Hi guys, you guys need to bear with me if I seem a little agitated. Once again, I made a too long video. I have received a few messages asking about my son, so I decided just to do a video instead of replying to all the messages. So I'm going to try not to go over again. I'm going to try to make this really quick. Those of you who know me have already heard the story. You don't have to listen to it again. I'm sure you've heard it 1,000 times. Anyway, my son, his name is Braden. He was born 11 weeks premature. And what happened when I was 29 weeks, I had really bad preeclampsia. My blood pressure was really high. I was spilling protein in my urine. I was a sick girl. So my doctor admitted me into the hospital here in Cheyenne, and I was just really sick. And she told me she might have to send me to Denver because when you have preeclampsia, the only real way to cure it is by delivering the baby. They can try to lower your blood pressure, but really the only cure is delivering the baby. So, and our hospital in Cheyenne is not equipped to deal with a baby that premature. So they ended up sending me to Denver. I remember begging the doctors not to deliver him. I was kind of delirious, and for those of you who have children know, you really don't care about yourself, you care about your kids, and I did not want him to be born that early, so I begged them not to deliver him, and the doctors were trying to calm me down. They were like, "Sweetie, we might have to deliver him, you know, there's nothing else we can do." And they're like, "Honey, you could start going into seizures at any time. You could go into a coma at any time." And I was like, "I don't care. Don't deliver him. I don't care." Finally, one of the doctors was like, "Honey, if you're sick, baby is sick." And that kind of calmed me down. Anyway, so they flew me by helicopter to Denver, to the University of Colorado Hospital. Awesome hospital, by the way. I loved it there. But so the doctors there tried to lower my blood pressure. They tried to keep me comfortable. Nothing was working. Medicines they were giving me weren't working. So they decided just to do a C-section because my baby's heart rate started to drop because I was so sick. So they did a C-section, an emergency C-section. My son was born at, I think, 2:06 I think, a.m. on July 18th, 2007. And he weighed 2 pounds 3 ounces. I was still really sick after he was born, so I didn't get to see him until a little over 24 hours after he was born, and I demanded to see him. And I was so sick I couldn't even sit up in my bed, so they had to wheel my hospital bed into the NICU to see him. He could not breathe on his own, so for the first, I think it was like 48 hours, a little over 48 hours, he had to be on a breathing tube, a respirator, to breathe for him. And after that, a little less than a week, he was on a CPAP machine. That was hard to watch because I don't know if you guys have ever seen a CPAP machine, but the machine is like bigger than my kid's head, so you couldn't even see his face. But then after that, he was just on oxygen. And he was fine. He didn't have any problems that you normally see with premature babies. Like, premature babies usually have like heart problems and stuff. He didn't have any. A baby born that premature, 11 weeks, is like 98% likely or something like that to have brain bleeds, which normally they aren't serious. Sometimes they are, but he didn't have any brain bleeds at all. No infections. I was really lucky with him. They didn't have any problems. He was just on oxygen. And he was on oxygen when he came home. Now, when he spent about 6 weeks in the hospital, and when he was 6 weeks old and I took him home, he weighed just over 4 pounds at 6 weeks. So he was really tiny. He's still really tiny for his age. Anyways, I'm trying to think. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some of my pictures really quick. I suck at editing videos, so I'm just going to hold up the pictures because I can't edit videos, so bear with me. So he was probably about 48 hours old. You can see the breathing tube. Yeah. And this picture was taken by my cell phone, so it's kind of blurry. Sorry guys. I just want to see, he was really tiny. Itty bitty. And here's another one about him. He's probably about 48 hours old. Super tiny. Another thing about preemies, they're really hard to calm down when they start crying, because their nervous system is so premature, so it's really hard to calm them down. And so a good way to calm them down is to just kind of take your hands and take their feet and like bring their knees up to their chest and put this hand like on their head and this hand on their body and like swaddle them, because in the womb they're all tight and cozy in there, so if you do that it helps them. But they're really hard to calm down, and I got really lucky because my son's really laid back. For a preemie, he's really laid back. Here's another picture. You can see his little hand. Tiny, tiny. But after he was born, we don't live anywhere close to that hospital, so for 6 weeks I pretty much lived in a hotel room, and I read a ton of books about preemies. That was when he first got put on oxygen. You'll have to see, I look like hell in that picture, but shut up. I just had a C-section and I was sick and I didn't feel like doing my makeup or anything, so. Anyways, I read a ton of books about preemies, and a lot of the books were scary because they said preemies are really, really hard to calm down. They're hard to feed. They're super fussy. My baby wasn't. Even for a full-term baby, I don't think he was fussy at all. He never fussed. This is right after, about 3 days after he was released from the hospital. Kind of hard to see. Sorry guys. Anyways, so those are my pictures, and I'm just going to show you guys really quick. This was his diaper. First diapers. Until he wore these diapers until he was about 4 or 5 weeks old. This is my cell phone. Diaper. Really tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny. I asked the nurses if I could keep one of his diapers because they're so tiny. Of them. Anyway, so yeah. He didn't have any serious problems. He was on oxygen for a few weeks after he came home. That sucked because I had to carry around an oxygen tank and car seat and diaper bag everywhere I went. But whatever. So, yeah, other than that, since the day he came home from the hospital, he's had physical therapy, and then when he was about a year old, he started getting speech therapy. And it's a wonderful, he got those services from a wonderful place here called Stride. And when he was 2, he went to the Stride classrooms, and it's great. The classrooms that he's in, the kids who need it get the physical therapy, the speech therapy, and the occupational therapy in the classroom, and plus they have the teachers and they have the interaction with other kids, which is great. But he's doing awesome now. He's 3 years old, and he walks, he talks, he jumps, he plays, he climbs. He's a little smart aleck. He is a typical 3-year-old boy. He is such a brat, and I love him so much. But he's doing great. All of the problems that you would normally see with a baby born so early, he doesn't seem to have. He is a little bit slow developmentally, but he is smart as a whip. He didn't start walking until after he was a year old, and he didn't start talking until a few months ago. But so he's just a little bit slow. It's typical with a preemie, like a baby that premature. It's pretty typical. But I was really lucky because for a preemie, he was really laid back. He was not fussy. He didn't get ear infections. He was not colicky. He didn't have acid reflux too bad. He had a tiny bit of it, but not too bad. He was sleeping through the night when he was like 4 months old. He was sleeping through the night. He still is an awesome sleeper. Just a really laid back kid. I'm so lucky. I'm so in love with him. I just love my little boy so much. He's just the greatest little boy that anybody could ask for, and sometimes I still feel bad that he had such a rough start in life, but we got through it. We did it, him and me together. So love him to death. Yes, I am a single mom. Braden's dad is not in his life. He's not in my life, so my mom and my brother helped me out a lot with him. I'm very grateful to them. And anyways, yeah, that's his story. So if you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask. You probably won't offend me. You can ask anything. It doesn't matter. I'll answer. But anyways, yeah, so he's doing great. I'm doing great. I'm so in love with my little boy. He's the best little boy that anyone could ever hope for. He's great. It kind of scares me to have another one because I don't know if I'll get so lucky to have a baby who's not fussy, who sleeps through the night right away. Such a laid back kid. But anyways, so I guess that's it. Alright. Bye guys.